of every laureate to seize this opportunity to thank, firstly, the entire staff of the Yaoundé Pilot Center for their time, devotedness, and professionalism. Coming here every day was not a burden. Rather, it was a very exciting experience because each day was a new challenge in the learning process. Secondly, I would like to thank the government for taking the initiative of opening such a training institution, which provides a chance to those of us who missed becoming bilingual at the primary, secondary, or university levels. In fact, some of us have been lucky to be sponsored by our various ministries and organizations. That is an additional reason for us to be grateful to the government. Cependant, je ne saurais terminer mon propos sans proposer que le centre pilote de Yaoundé s'agrandisse en termes d'infrastructure, d'équipement et surtout qu'il y ait une extension au niveau du territoire national. Let me conclude by saying that becoming bilingual has today become an obligation for all Cameroonians. Thank you for your kind attention. Long live the Yaoundé Pilot Center. Long live the bilingual training program. Long live the Republic of Cameroon. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Your Excellencies, members of government and the diplomatic corps, the coordinator of the bilingual training program, the director of the Pilot Linguistic Center, the directors of the provincial linguistic centers, dear colleagues, dear participants, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great honor that I stand here today to address an issue that is of great concern, not only to learners of languages, but also to the professionals that we are, who have the duty of teaching it, on the topic l'enseignement efficace de l'écoute dans une approche communicationnelle. The topic in English is the effective teaching of listening in a communicative classroom environment. Before getting into the heart of the matter, let us stop for a while and consider these key terms. What is listening? Listening can be defined as the activity of paying attention to and trying to get meaning from something you hear. Effective listening does not simply entail understanding words as they are, but the listener must be able to work out what the speaker means and the context in which he says it. By communicative classroom environment, we mean a situation whereby listeners are taught not only to master grammar rules, but learn to use language to express their needs, thoughts, and desires. This discourse has been divided up into the following parts. Firstly, we shall look at listening as a language skill that deserves greater attention. Secondly, we shall examine some difficulties when teaching listening and learning how to listen. Thirdly, we are going to ponder on some theoretical considerations related to the teaching of listening. Then we shall focus on some significant strides taken by the bilingual training program in this domain. And finally, we shall give some recommendations for improvement for the common good of all. In order to teach a language effectively, language teachers must grapple with these four main skills, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But most of the time, we tend to concentrate more on the other skills, that is, writing, reading, and speaking, thereby neglecting the listening skill. The reasons for this are numerous and varied. People assume that listening is done naturally and therefore there is no need for an extensive instruction in it. Another reason why listening is not emphasized is that not having experienced much instruction on listening themselves, teachers are not quite sure about how best to teach it. Some teachers feel that there is no need insisting on a skill that is not really systematically tested in our secondary educational system. The reality is that this skill, to which not much emphasis is being laid, is actually the cornerstone of language learning. Linguists have proven that listening is the first language skill that children acquire. It provides a foundation for all aspects of language and cognitive development, and it plays a lifelong role in the processes of learning and communication essential to productive participation in life. A child will listen to his parents and will speak by repeating the words he hears from them. According to the linguists Pearson and Fielding, listening skills are closely linked to reading skills. They generally believe that reading and listening make use of similar language comprehension processes. Listening involves aspects such as phonology, syntax, and semantics as does reading. A study by Wilt in 1950 found out that people listen 45% of the time they spend communicating. 30% time is spent speaking, 16% for reading, and 9% for writing. This shows that people spend over 70% of the time speaking and listening. With this, one might assume that listening ought to receive considerable attention in our schools, but this does not seem to be the case. What then is the problem? In practical terms, listening may seem a far more difficult skill to learn than speaking, because in speaking, learners can at least exercise some control by using the grammatical structures and vocabulary with which they are familiar, whereas in listening, it is relatively difficult for learners to exercise such control over the structures of lexicon they hear. Listening, like speaking, serves as an indispensable foundation for every successful communication. On ne le dira jamais assez, le problème fondamental de nos apprenants du niveau débutant au niveau supérieur reste l'écoute, et ceci pour plusieurs raisons. L'environnement et les interférences comme le bruit, la capacité d'écoute de la personne qui écoute. Certaines personnes ont des problèmes médicaux d'audition. Le matériel d'écoute peut être défectueux. Il peut y avoir des problèmes d'adaptation de l'intonation occidentale à l'intonation locale. Le manque d'environnement réalise des communications de personne à personne dans un environnement multimédia. La concentration, certaines personnes ont des difficultés à se concentrer, même pour un bref instant. Leur esprit s'évade facilement. L'acquisition de la compétence d'écoute est frustrante. Ceci, parce qu'une bonne compréhension d'écoute s'acquiert avec le temps et à travers beaucoup de pratiques. Ceci n'est pas aussi évident qu'avec la grammaire où il y a des règles qu'on peut apprendre et appliquer. The teaching of listening involves two main aspects: the language system and how it is used. The language system is our knowledge of words, how they are properly put together, how they are said in connected streams, how these words are strung together in text, and the use of the language involves how we apply this knowledge of the language system to understand or convey meaning, and how we apply particular skills to understanding and conveying meaning. It has been generally noticed that learners, more often than not, are given practice in listening, but they are not actually taught listening. Practice is not enough. Research tells us that we need to teach listening. In addition to giving learners a lot of listening practice, we should break the skill of listening into micro-skill components and make sure that our learners are aware of what they need to know to understand how to listen to a language. Teachers must make them understand the methodology on the teaching of listening, which includes, among others, how words link together, that's liaison, how words weaken, the central vowel, how sounds mix, how sounds disappear, how syllables disappear, how helping sounds are used to do vowel sounds, how intonation helps with conversational turn taking, how stress signals new information, how to use grammar help guess meaning, how to use discourse knowledge to help guess meaning, and how to use knowledge of intonation and stress to guess meaning, all of which are strategies. Au programme de formation linguistique, les avancées significatives ont permis de répondre à cette préoccupation des apprenants. Au niveau structurel, des efforts considérables ont été faits pour remplacer les bandes vidéo VHS et les bandes audio par des DVD et des CD afin d'obtenir une meilleure qualité de son et d'image, étant ainsi un terme aux inquiétudes des apprenants irréactifs dans leurs exercices. Les sections d'écoute et d'expression orale du centre d'auto-apprentissage ont aussi reçu de nouvelles dotations en CD, lecteurs de CD et ordinateurs pour un meilleur confort des apprenants. Furthermore, a lot of efforts have been made to teach listening effectively to the learners of the bilingual training program. New didactic materials in terms of classroom course books, such as the Total English series and Cutting Edge for Advanced Students have been acquired. These books contain graded, rich, and very useful practice for our learners. Learners on their part should take listening exercises with a free mind and concentrate. They should listen freely, go for the overall meaning or message and not particular words or expressions. The learner should focus on the speaker's meaning rather than the speaker's language. The focus should shift to language only when the meaning is not clear. They should always have in mind the fact that difficulties are natural and normal. Besides, the management of the bilingual training program has been making considerable efforts in training its teachers during seminars organized during break periods and during national seminars to keep the staff abreast of modern methods of teaching and the use of new technologies in the transmission of knowledge, which will go a long way in solving many problems of acquiring language learning skills by its participants. The constant availability of teachers and the commitment to duty is a precious asset to the participants who have made the choice of coming to any of the centers of the bilingual training program to receive language courses. From the above discussion, one can say without any shadow of doubt that the bilingual training program is making relentless efforts to assist learners to go over the fear and stress of doing listening exercises, be them during regular classroom courses or during assessments. It is my humble wish that the bilingual training program pursues its ongoing policy of the digitization of pedagogic materials, as this will go a long way in making the learners interested in using the Self-Access Learning Center and developing greater interest in self-study and in listening. Les enseignants de langue pour leur part doivent viser à produire des apprenants capables, même sans la maîtrise totale de la grammaire et du vocabulaire, de survivre dans une situation de communication. Il s'agit de produire des apprenants à mesure d'utiliser des stratégies d'écoute pour maximiser leur compréhension orale, identifier l'information pertinente et non pertinente et tolérer moins la compréhension littérale. En attirant l'attention des apprenants sur l'écoute en tant que compétence linguistique, les enseignants devront les aider à développer la capacité, l'assurance, finalement, encore pour faire face à des situations de communication, leur donnant ainsi une assise ou une compétence de communication dans la langue cible. Les enseignants doivent proposer des pratiques d'écoute qui demandent à interpréter et comprendre le sens, ainsi que des activités d'écoute qui enseignent aux apprenants comme une langue est effectivement parlée. En clair, les apprenants ont besoin de pratiquer l'écoute pour la compréhension du sens et des instructions sur la manière d'y arriver. En fin de compte, le facteur le plus important à prendre en considération lorsqu'on conçoit des leçons dont le but est de développer des aptitudes en compréhension est que les apprenants ont besoin d'être motivés et de rester motivés. Ceci peut être fait par l'entremise d'une sélection rigoureuse de textes de compréhension proches de leurs intérêts et de leurs attentes pour toute leur vie. Mesdames et messieurs, notre recommandation finale aux apprenants et aux enseignants s'incarne dans cette maxime. Practice makes perfect. Vive l'unité et l'intégration nationale. hilo tunaingisha, hilo kazi.
Good afternoon. I begin by saying very frankly that this is an excellent day and this is an excellent celebration. It is wonderful to be in a very bilingual milieu where everybody speaks our two national languages. I wish to very especially thank the young lady sitting there who spoke on behalf of the persons who will receive the esteemed donors and who is truly bilingual. I am eager to go back to school and become as bilingual as you are. Your Excellencies, representatives of the diplomatic mission, general managers, the coordinator of the bilingual training program, directors of linguistic centers, the recipients, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Je suis très heureux de me retrouver aujourd'hui au centre linguistique pilote de Yaoundé pour présider la première cérémonie de remise de l'attestation de fin de formation bilingue délivrée par le programme de formation linguistique bilingue au titre de l'année 2008. Mais avant de poursuivre, permettez-moi tout d'abord de transmettre aux organisateurs de la présente cérémonie, à tous les directeurs des centres linguistiques provinciaux et à tous nos distingués invités ici présents, les chaleureuses salutations de son Excellence Monsieur le ministre d'État, secrétaire général de la présidence de la République, ainsi que ses félicitations et ses encouragements. Permettez-moi également d'exprimer à Monsieur le directeur, à tout le personnel et aux représentants des apprenants du Centre linguistique pilote, toute ma gratitude pour l'accueil chaleureux et enthousiaste qu'ils ont bien voulu réserver aux invités venus nombreux à cette cérémonie, à la délégation qui m'accompagne, ainsi qu'à moi-même. Enfin, j'adresse un salut militant aux camarades de notre grand parti national, le RDPC, dont la présence enthousiaste témoigne de leur soutien sans réserve à la politique de bilinguisme, d'unité et d'intégration nationale prônée par son Excellence Monsieur le Président Paul Biya, Président de la République, chef de l'État et Président national du RDPC. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the present ceremony is taking place within a special context after we held a similar event in Garua on the 10th of December 2007, and when the entire nation is celebrating the National Day of Bilingualism throughout our nursery, primary, secondary, and higher education schools. Such mobilization shows proof of the government's sustained interest and commitment to the promotion of President Biya's policy on bilingualism. Bilingualism, as you all know, is the identity of Cameroon. It is our national pride and our trademark. It is a major ingredient in the promotion of our national unity and integration, the peace we enjoy on all over our country, and the friendly ties we maintain with various nations the world over. It is precisely for this reason that since his accession to power, His Excellency President Paul Biya has tried to promote bilingualism through a number of